Good afternoon, everyone. Electric comets, electrified skies, smoke curtains, volcanic eruptions. Back to Mesopotamia to take a look at the kites and the record floods along the Red Sea. Our world is telling us something, especially with the snows in Venezuela right now. So some of you ask me, how do I spend my day? Well, this morning I started off here taking a look at the map of Babylonia, Mari, and Assur, taking us back to the beginnings. A little fast forward into a schematic cross-section of the Great Pyramid, looking at the chambers in there. And those of further back lineage, leaving us messages of when cataclysms occurred and what types of animals they would leave in hopes that the sun would leave us alone. That's how I ended up at the record floods again. This is Taif this time, a little bit south of Mecca. And we've seen this again and again. A majority of these events are occurring in the same areas along the Red Sea, western Saudi Arabia. This is not normal. And another thing, it shows that the streets become the rivers, as if we've seen across the planet. When our infrastructure can't hold the bounds of floods, the streets become the new rivers. How much infrastructure is damaged? But this much rainfall coming down in a drier area on the planet just gives validation we're in a cycle reset. And Taif, again, Saudi Arabia here, new flood, not related to the last bevy of floods, so I pinned it on the map here, just a little bit south and to the east of Mecca. But that's along the mountain range where the new weather pattern is just dropping all this moisture out. And every dot you see there is an absolute record flood in the last 30 days. And you can't move around a map very far in Saudi Arabia or up to Jordan without seeing something called a desert kite. Ancient rock formations, and nobody knows what the actual use of these were except for perhaps Michael Tellinger, who was doing some of the same work in southern Africa. Something to do with gold mining back in the day. But notice the oil pads stopped short of destroying that, which is very nice. Thank you for saving our cultural history. Ours. Humanity's cultural history, and we see quite a few more. These are not cattle corrals, as they were termed in southern Africa. They were used for a different purpose, still unknown, but littering the planet. And also, since I was into the ancient history pages, map from 1715 here for you. Shows the different coats of arms on the nation of the time or the region, and also the different water bodies which no longer exist. So what you know now is the desert, Sahels, Sahara, North Africa, Middle East. That much change has occurred in 300 years, which makes me ask the question, is our history really our history in terms of how quickly empires have risen and fallen, or great dynasties, or fiefdoms, kingdoms, whatever you like to call it? Is the history truly as long as we're being told? Because these remnants are painting a very clear picture that things are always shifting. And the powerhouses of the day, for a better term, come and go like the on and off of a light switch. It seems that we're back at that again right now, and you can see why the world geopolitically is responding the way it is. How do you control hungry people? That's probably your first stop of information search. JP Morgan and Citigroup now forecast 2 supersized Fed cuts this year. The stock market crashed in 2000 and 2007 after the first rate cut. In 2007, gold went up over 200%, more than doubling. Silver tripling. Because gold is security in times of uncertainty. And Patriot Gold Group has an OP for Life IRA, where your IRA or 401k could be in physical gold or silver. No fee for life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Give them a call, 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. And another, wow, this is interesting, right on the 80-year Strauss and Howe forward turning, we are about to see Corona Borealis brightest nova of the generation on an 80-year cycle. Also, previously observed eruptions. What are the 1217 AD? Gee, let me see. I would encourage everybody, do your historical research. What occurred across the planet 1217 AD? But this is more of an 80-year cycle. It seems that these cosmic rays emanated from this are stronger, just like solar flares. So what is the chance that this is occurring now with the resetting of the planet and everything else that we're seeing in this just discombobulated opportunity that we have in front of us on a cycle? And suddenly we have electric comets. They're admitting to it. Suddenly our atmosphere has an electric layer to it. The global electric circuit finally quantified by Eugene Bogashev doing tons of research back in the day, along with Heinrich Svensmark. So that Nikola Tesla invention thing of pulling electricity or electric current out of the air, just proven possible. So what is this, and what are they trying to tell us about this? So if our Earth is electric and the comets are electric and everything's affected by the electric field generated by the sun, what do you think happens in October when the Earth goes behind the sun and we got the four gas giants creating this square formation? Do you think? Isn't the world all getting a scatter wave pattern right up into now? Are we coming up into some sort of apex in the beginning of something that this demarcates the beginning of something? Because if we look at Walter Russell's work on the left and gravity troughs and magnetic potentiality, put this on every single one of those planets and then see what happens in the inner looping and mixing. Now, I don't know if Jupiter itself, something will happen with that, but let's remember the Hollywood blockbuster, The Jupiter Menace, released in 1982. So if you think if there was some sort of disruption that's visible and known on a cycle, and when it's going to get really, really, really intense, we'll see a lot of things leading up into it, like all these burned farm fields, global crop production down, smoke curtains. Again, this all just portends into describing a shift of an age. You're telling me this triple lightning bolt on top of major cities is normal? I am going to just go out on a limb and say, I don't think so. But maybe I'm wrong. Lightning strike hits a water tower in Stallings, North Carolina, busts it open, got a little river from the sky because of the lightning strike on the water tower. And, I guess I'm going to go woo-woo here, and I guess the next thing you're going to tell me orchids look like people. Yeah, we're going to stay down in South America right now. Warm, tropical, except for the snowfall in Venezuela, Merida. Now, I've seen a couple snowfalls instances about, like 2016 when I was starting off the Adapt 2030 channel. But Venezuela and snowfall don't normally go together. But I guess this year and this strangeness, perhaps they do. Oil and water will mix once again. And maybe this will ultimately be your food source running at you. Oh wait, the ducks are attacking, run for your life. This is what you want to run for your life from. Volcanic eruptions are increasing across the planet. Etna now starting to go into full flow mode, like dinosaur lava rolling down the sides of the mountain type versus just fountaining and some smoke. It's definitely entered a new amplification phase. And then we look over into Iceland and we see the sewing needle rifting continuing. This whole caldera is going to rift open if it continues. Who knows? Will it stop on a dime as it does previously in the past? But now we're starting to see multiple cracks opening across the entire caldera there. So this is to be seen how much higher in space we will be able to go up in altitude and still view this same glowing emission. And along jet streams going into different locations, electromagnetically driven if there's a perturbance or something's off on the regular system. Have we seen a lot of these turbulence incidents really increasing in the last 12 months? That's a check the box, yes. More fireballs coming in, bigger and bigger and bigger. This one over Germany. We're starting to see these like every day, multiple instances. That's a full moon that fireball shot by. Hailstones are increasing in size and shall continue to increase. But you know what really gets me on all this? Coffee jumps to highest closing price in history. Ever. AH. And I think moving forward, we're going to have to accept challenges, all of us, that we never thought we would as this change really starts to ramp up right now. So I'm trying to put the geopolitical events right on the timeline of this and everything just coming to this ramp up point where it's so sloppy anymore. They don't even care if you see what's going on because there must be a definite timeline to adhere to. And it's just like all hands on deck. Doesn't matter what happens. We need to get to this milestone right here, right now. And I do believe it has something to do with that October event. You're telling me that all these things are going off the rails in unison, including our economy, governance structure, and then we're supposed to believe that it's just a random happenstance that they wanted to change a lot of things. The cryptocurrency is rolling now. All this digital, central bank digital currency issuance, and I'll just leave it there. Do they want to know where everybody on the planet is, like after this event, just to know who's left? Is that what we're getting at under the guise of something else so they don't spook everybody in advance? I'll leave that up to you. But I do thank you for watching. Check out Marjorie Wildcraft's webinar on how to grow more food. Hour and a half of solid information to give you the confidence to put a seed in the ground. That is homegrown2030.com. That's in the link in the description box below. Click on the little mater right there, little red tomato. It'll take you right there. Homegrown2030.com. Appreciate you watching. I will see you next time. Bye for now.